Let us now discuss about the actual protocol, which is majority-based dynamic protocol. So what happens in this when a site I receives any updates? So then it will be executing the certain steps. And what are those steps? We will discuss it one by one. The first step is, suppose I receives, so I issues a lock request to its local lock manager. And if the local lock is granted, then I sends a vote request message to all the sites. So since I has sent a vote request to all the sites, so any site who are going to receive this vote request message, suppose J has received the vote request message, then it will issue, J site will issue a lock request to its local lock manager. And if it is granted, then the site J will send the value of version number, total number of the replica updated, as well as the distinguished site. What are the distinguished sites? All these things in the form of information is sent to the site I by the site J. So J may be many sites. So every site will be sending this kind of information to the site I. Now, once the site I receives the responses from the different J sites, then the site I is going to decide whether it belongs to the distinguished partition procedure or not. Now, there is a process by which I is able to decide whether it belongs to the distinguished partition procedure that we will discuss after a few minutes. That how a site is going to decide whether it belongs to the distinguished site or not. So, if it does not belong to the distinguished partition, then it means it is not able to take the decision, or it is not having the votes by which it can proceed further. Then what it will do, it will issue a release lock to the local lock manager and aborts and send the abort message to all the sites, which will issue its release lock to their local manager. Now, if the site I who has received this kind of information from the different sites, and if that site I belongs to that distinguished partition, then it performs the update on the local copy. How this update is performed, I will be discussing later on. So if it will update on its local copy, if the current copy is the updated copy, then it will do. Otherwise, it will try to find the current copy from the, and then what the site I will do, I will send a commit message to the all participating sites about the missing updates, and as well as the value of version number, because it has updated, so version number will be changed. How many sites are participating, so RU will be changed, as well as what are the distinguished sites, which are the distinguished sites, this will also be updated. And then it is issuing the local release lock request to the local manager, because the job is over. And when I has sent all this information, the site J receives the commit message. So it updates its replica with the value of RU, that is replica updated, its version number, as well as the distinguished site set. And then it sends the release lock request to the local manager. So, meaning thereby in this majority-based protocol, there are two important things. One, that how the site is going to decide whether it belongs to the distinguished partition procedure or not. Second, if it is so, how it will be updating it. So first of all, how the I will decide whether it belongs to the distinguished partition procedure or not. So what the I will do, I will calculate something. So how it will find that it belongs to the distinguished partition site. Let the set P. When the process is invoked, the invoking site I has collected the responses from the vote request messages, and then suppose that P denotes the set of the responding sites. Those sites who have responded are represented in the form of a set P. Now with this, I calculates what? I calculates these three values. The first value is M. The M is the most recent version which is present in the partition. Suppose three sites are participating. So out of, suppose these three sites are A, B, and C. So out of A, B, C, which site has most recent version in partition? Suppose three sites has responded. So out of that three sites, which one is the maximum? So that maximum M is equal to max value of the version number of the site J, where J is in P. What is P? P is the set of the responding sites. Suppose three sites, so P will be having three elements. If there are two sites who have responded, so P will be having two. So out of the sites who has responded, we designate the maximum version number into M. Second thing which it calculates is the value of Q, where Q is the value, integer value, that is J. That is J means J is designating the site, whether it is site A, it is site B, or it is site C. So Q is J in P. With that particular J, it may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3. Suppose three sites has responded, and all the three sites are having the latest version number. So it means the J value will be 3. Suppose three sites has responded, and only two sites is having the version number maximum. So the J will be 2. Suppose three sites has responded, and out of three sites, only one is having maximum version number. So the J value of J will be 1. So it means Q will be equal to J, whether J will be equal to 1, 2, 3, depending upon those sites who have responded having the maximum version number of the replica. And the third one which it calculates is N, which shows that RUJ, means the replica which is being updated at the different sites J, where J belongs to Q. Q, what is Q? Q is those sites which is having the maximum number version number. So N will be having RUJ, meaning thereby whatever is the replica updated, where J belongs to Q, where J is the element of Q. So based on these calculation, now it tries to find out that now here the M stands for the most recent version in the partition. Q is the set of sites containing the version M, means the maximum, means the latest version, and N is the number of the sites that are participated in the latest update. There are two sites, there are three sites, there are one site, that will be equal to N. Now, how it will decide now? Once it has done the calculation, how it will decide? First of all, we have to check the cardinality of Q. Cardinality means total number of the elements present in the set Q. It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3. And we try to find out whether it is greater than N by 2. And what is N? N is having those number of sites who have participated in the latest update having maximum number of the version. So if the number of elements present in the Q is greater than N by 2, suppose the value of N is 2, and suppose Q is equal to 2. Q is equal to 2 and N is 2. So naturally the 2 will be greater than 2 by 2, that is 1. So if it is so, if the first condition is satisfied, it means I is the member of the distinguished partition. And once this condition is satisfied, that is Q is greater than N by 2, it gives the indication that I is a member of distinct partition. It proceeds further for the updation. But if Q is equal to N by 2, meaning thereby if N is equal to 2 and Q is equal to 1, then it will be equal to 1 will be equal to 1. So it means there is a tie, and this tie has to be decided whether it wants to commit, it wants to update, or it has to update, or it has to abort. So for breaking this tie, what is being done? We select a site J in Q. We select any site J in Q, and if DSJ, when the distinguished site set in the at the site J, if it is in Q, then I belongs to the distinguished partition. कोई भी हमने J select किया, कोई भी site select की, and that site belongs to Q, and if that site is having distinguished set and that set is in Q, then I belongs to the distinguished set. Now, if RUJ is even, means of that site, if the replica updation is even, then DSJ contains the highest order site. Meaning thereby, I is in the partition containing the distinguished site. The total meaning of this is that if J is the element of Q, and if J is the element of Q, we select a J as the element of Q, and if DSJ is the element of Q, then it means I belongs to the distinguished partition. And when n is even, then RUJ will also be even. If n is even, then RUJ will also be even, and that DSJ, means the distinguished site set, contains the site with the highest order or the linear order. Now, third, if n is equal to 3, and what is n? N is the replica updated, total number of the replica updated, where J belongs to Q. So if n is equal to 3, and if the number of sites which has responded contains 2 or all 3 sites indicated by the distinguished set variable of the site Q, then it means I belongs to the distinguished partition. So there are 3 conditions. The first condition is Q should be greater than or equal to 2. The second condition is if Q is equal to n by 2, then we have to select a J so that DSJ is in Q. Then only it will be, that site will be in distinguished partition. And if n is equal to 3, then if P contains 2 or all the 3 sites indicating the, if all the 2 sites or the 3 sites are the element of DSJ, means the distinguished site, then I belongs to the distinguished partition. And if all these 3 conditions are not satisfied, then it means I does not belong to the distinguished partition, and it is going to release lock to the local manager and aborts to the other sites. So for this particular purpose, based on the responses, I is able to decide whether it is belonging to the distinguished partition procedure or not. Now, once it is decided that the site I who has received the responses from the different sites belongs to the distinguished partition set, then it starts update. Then it invokes the update. So update is invoked when a site is ready to commit. And so when it is ready to commit, the variables are updated. And how the variables are updated? First of all, the version number will be updated, where m plus 1, where m is the current copy. Current copy means the latest version number. Suppose the latest version number is 4. So after this updation and the commit, the version number will become 5. The second one is it will update the replica updated set. So replica updated set of the site I will be updated by the cardinality of P, means the number of sites who have responded. If 3 sites have responded, so RUI will be having 3 elements. If 2 sites have responded, so RUI will be having 2 elements. As well as DSI will also be updated. But DSI will be updated when n is not equal to 3. If n is not equal to 3, then only DSI will be updated, because when n is equal to 3, as per as per the people who have given this algorithm, they have their the idea that if n is equal to 3, then in that case static voting protocol will be better than the dynamic voting protocol. So when n is equal to 3, is not equal to 3, then only these two operations will perform. But if n is equal to 3, then the static voting protocol will be performed, and in that case we are not going to change or update the distinguished site list. But if n is not equal to 3, what will happen? If n is equal to not equal to 3, then DSI will be equal to k. What is k? If it will be equal to k if the replica updated at that site is even. Agar even hoga, to iski value k hogi. And what is k? Where k is the highest order site. Highest order sites का मतलब होगा अगर आपके पास 3 साइट पार्टिसिपेट कर रही हैं, sorry, 4 sites participate कर रही हैं, B, C, D, E. So the highest order will be B. So DSI will be equal to B. और अगर RUI की value even नहीं है, if it is odd and if it is equal to 3, then in that case DSI will be equal to P. Where what is P? P is the number of the sites who have responded. Suppose there is a site B and C and D has responded. So DSI will be equal to BC. So if RUI means the replica updated is 3, then the DSI will be equal to B. So this is all about the protocol, because in this protocol, the important thing is when the site I is going to receive the reply from the different sites to whom it has requested, then they will be sending their different values of version number, replica updated in the DSJ, and then it has to decide that it belongs to the distinguished partition. If it belongs, then only it will do the updation process by using this. So let us go back to the example, and then we will apply this algorithm and how the values are changing in that particular case. Now, this is the first example in which it is already assumed that there are 5 sites which are available, A, B, C, D, E, and all the sites are having the replica, and all the replicas have been updated on all the sites 3 times, and that is why all are having the version number 3. And since all the 5 sites are participating, so RU is the 5. And since all the sites are accessible to with every site, because all are participating in a particular, all the A, B, C, D, E are present in a particular partition, then there is no meaning of representing the distinguished site set. So it is null. Why it is null? Because it has been already told you that if RUI is odd and it is not equal to 3, there is no meaning of giving any information in the form of a DS. It is irrelevant. Now, this was discussed just before that in the previous lecture, that if RIU is odd, then DIs will be nil until unless RUI is 3. Now, suppose we take the situation in which B, now the B is going to receive an update request and find that it can communicate only with the site A and the site C. And when B is going to receive any kind of update request and it can communicate only with A and C, so what it will do? So it means there is a partition, and that partition will be having a set that is A, B, and C, because B has received an information and it can communicate only with A and C. So it will find that the latest version with which is available with A, B, C is 3. And the number of replica which is associated with these 3 is 5. So number of replica is available is 5, and out of which the latest version is 3. Since now since it is showing a partition of ABC, now this ABC have 3 of the 5 copies, because A is having 3, B is having 3, C, all are having the latest version. So, and total number of copies which are available is 5. So it means it is in the majority. So if it is in the majority, so we decide that it, how it will be in the majority. Now, if you go with this, since cardinality of Q is greater than n by 2, where n, what is n? N is equal to RUJ. What is RUJ? Number of replica updated, 5. Number of replica updated is 5. So 5 by 2, it is 2.5. And the value of Q is 3. So 3 is greater than n by 2. So it says that I belong to, it decides that I belong to the distinguished partition set. And since it belongs to distinguished partition set, it is going to process the update. Now, because these 3 sites are participating, only these 3 sites are participating in the update. So the replica which will be updated now will be only 3 sites. So the number of sites which have been replicated will be 3. And the version will be increased from 3 to 4 to all these sites. So this is how it works. Now, let us suppose that now C is going to receive an update and it finds that it can communicate only with B. It means only 2 sets are participating. C is going to receive an update and it can communicate only with B. So what it will do, it will try to find out that what is the latest version, B and C. C has received, C is required to update and it can communicate with B. So it will find that the latest version is available with B and C, that is 4. And the number of replica which were updated and it is stored in the site B and the site C is 3. So the latest version is 4 and the number of replica updated is 3. So the protocol, now since here the RUJ is 3, let us go with. Now since RUI is 3, so DSI, now Vn will be incremented by 1, RUI will be the cardinality of P. So what will be the cardinality of P? RUI will be the cardinality of P. So the cardinality of P is 3. Now this protocol is going to choose, the static voting protocol, because the reason is that the person who have given that, Jajodia and Muffler has given this, they found that a static voting protocol works better than the dynamic protocol if RUI is equal to 3. So for that particular purpose, DS will not be updated, RU will not be updated, only the versions will be updated, and that version, since B and C can communicate, so both will be updating its version and it will become 5. Now let us go to the next, in which D is going to receive. Now D is going to receive an update and tries to discover that whether it can come and try to discover that to whom it can communicate. So it finds that B, C, E are the sites with which it can communicate. So B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, and the latest version which is available in this B, C, D, E is the 5. And जिसके पास ये लेटेस्ट वर्जन है उसमें रेप्लिका जो अपडेटेड हुई है वो 3 है. So majority belongs to ABC. Now this distinguished set is having ABC. So ABC को अब देखा जाएगा. अब ABC में हमारे पास B और C के पास latest version available है. Now since we are partitioning it, because D can communicate with BCE, so we have a partition which is known as BCDE. Now it has 4 sites now. BCDE has 4 sites. So since 4 sites are participating, so the replica which will be updated, it will be 4. And since this RU means this value is even, so what will happen when the RU is even? When RUI is even, the DSI is equal to K, where K is the highest order site. So when the RUI is even, so what will happen? The DSI will be equal to K, and the K is the highest order site. Let us go. The highest order site out of B, C, D, E, the highest order site is B. So when the highest order site is B, so all the distinguished site will be updated by B, 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 B. Now, suppose now, now C is going to receive an update and it finds that it can communicate only with B. So let us see what will happen. B is now, C is going to receive an update and it finds that it can communicate only with B. So now the partition has been done in the form of a BC. Now the BC contains half the sites in the partition. B and C contains the half in the partition and also contains the distinguished site P in the list. Distinguished site P is available. So DS has to break the tie because the value is equal, meaning thereby cardinality of Q has become n by 2. So it needs to be broken. So it is going to select a site J in Q. And if DSJ is in Q, I belongs to the distinguished partition. So it means if we have selected the value of B, so it is going to participate in the update. And whenever it is going to participate in the update, the version number will be increased and the updated replicas will be 2 because only 2 sites are being updated. So in this way, this majority approach protocol, voting protocol, dynamic voting protocol works.